this guy know that he was going to be able to just get on the rooftop?
Right. We're going to be here for a couple hours.
I'm very atheist. I'm thinking that wholeheartedly.
Shooters that have been in America over the last 10 years.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
I don't know if that was shots or if that was fireworks.
I saw Charlie Kirk get shot. Coming from the left side of his neck, down his shirt, and he slumped over and he was carried off.
We're not doing it.
Get off me! Get off me!
Hello. Welcome. So a year at a period of time that we don't forget, that we are going to be talking about for the next lifetime, because so much crazy shit is going on right now, and I don't see it getting less crazy. It seems like it's getting more crazy. We just heard that Donald Trump is calling in all of the military personnel for an emergency meeting in Virginia. No idea what that's going to be about. It could be about us. It could be about some other threat that we don't know about. But to call everyone to Virginia is strange. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So this week, Karen Read was back in court for her civil suit. She has 7 or 8 lawyers sitting there. Theo Keefe's lawyer got up and went through the rendition of all the stuff that she's done, but he was able to include the stuff that she did with Turtle Boy, sending autopsy pictures and the like, getting a mob of people after, to interfere with the case. And we'll see. She's trying to dismiss some of those charges. I made a comment on there and it was cut about, I don't know if I should even say it again, but about a man that hits, and the context of it, or what I was saying, was more about what Turtle Boy's role was for her, where he wrote hit pieces on people, to change public perception. I mean, I think that the Karen Read story is such old news at this point. I don't see new people getting sucked into it. And, I guess like her base of supporters, they're never going to go away. So they'll always be there supporting her. But I think there's a cap on how many people can get sucked into that conspiracy. And I think the cap is reached its limit. So I think any type of media that would be put out by the O'Keefes or by the Alberts or by the McCabe's would serve them. It was very hot. I mean, I have Karen fatigue. I do not want to see her face. I don't really care. I mean, she got away with it. So like if the O'Keefes can get, liability, but I think that they're really after the truth, right? I think that that's what they probably care about more than, if they get one of these settlements. I think it is getting the truth out there. So I think the truth could get out there in other ways. And that's what I was alluding to in my Hitman comment, which of course was cut and edited and thrown all over the internet. So I have all kinds of weirdos messaging me on all different platforms. And that's what you get when you deal with these people. So there's nothing new there. I'm over it. I don't want to continue to argue whether he was hit by a car or not. I mean, these people, they're never going to accept that he was hit by a car. I mean, I think anyone with common sense knows he was hit by a car and she left him there to die in the cold. Nobody in town was out. There was no footprints in the snow. She knew exactly where he was beneath the snow and dug him out. And the pieces of her taillight were in his clothes. So, I mean, there's just no question about what happened. But stupid people like to be stupid. They're committed. They are committed. So one thing that I did see, let's see if I can find it. It is so hard to like talk and to navigate and to pull up things. It is really, I need an AI helper, I think. So I was gonna pull up, oh, this one. So this is the Karen Reed crew. Apparently someone with my similar name, but someone that's much younger than me, was doing a gender change or something. So to Madison Vera Doherty. So this is what they come at me with. And I think that this just sets the stage of why in every time there's a shooting lately, they allude to, oh, it must be a trans. And like, this is part of it. It's like, if they can vilify me with this trans stuff, it gets a lot more people on board to stand against me, because I think that, the current administration or the climate for trans people is dangerous. And I think that's, that this is Karen Reed trying to recruit more inbred people to come after me. But I take it as a compliment. I mean, I wish that I was born in 1993. I don't even know how old. I'd be a whole hell of a lot younger. It's about 12 years younger. So, I mean, that's considerable. But I don't know. I deactivated my X again because I'm just like, I just wish that I could cut those. I don't even want to talk to Karen Reed people ever. But I could just start a new one. But I think X is a great place to get the most current information about any case that you're following. So I probably have to go back there or start a new one. But I am over these Karen Reed freaks. I mean, they are a complete freak show. And that is the Karen Reed update. I think we'll see her in court. So as far as the Charlie Kirk case goes, I find this fascinating because the FBI came out and said, we're going to look into all your conspiracies, basically. He listed out all the different things that people had questions on. A lot of people, I'm not one of them because I can't tell you what a weapon would do, what a bullet would do. Like, I have no idea. But a lot of people, hunters, are really all over TikTok saying that there's no way in hell that round just landed in his neck with such little damage. Like, a lot of people are saying that's the exit wound. Some people are saying it went in through the back of his head and came out his neck. I don't really subscribe to that just because there's a tent. Like, how would they aim through the tent? And was there a hole in the tent? There's other people that think he was shot somewhere else through the crowd, which I think I'm open to that possibility. But I think the position on the roof where we know the shooter was, I think is, a straight shot. I think it's possible. I just don't know about the caliber of the bullet or the weapon or any of that stuff. but I think it's definitely possible that you could hit from that point. And I think it would be, unless this was an orchestrated decoy, I think that that's the strongest possibility. But there's another video that I think I made like a short video on this, but let's see if I can find it. I think it's this one.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there?
So this video I always found strange. And the thing is, the FBI says that at 12:22, that's when he reappears on the roof and he runs into this position. And within a minute, or I think less than a minute, the shooting happens. And so this person that is taking this video, someone has reached out to him and he did witness the shot. So, I mean, that's huge. But it's strange that we didn't really hear too much about it. The reason that we didn't hear too much about it is because the description that they gave to the police was nothing like the description that we had for Tyler. So that throws another wrench in it. And I was always wondering why that their governor, Cox, was saying he changed clothes on the roof. I'm like, what do you mean he changed clothes on the roof? And it's because the guy that filmed this video says that the shooter was in full tactical gear and a face mask, and that he could see the gun and he knows guns. And he said it was not that Mauser, whatever it was, that old fashioned gun that they ended up finding. I mean, I don't know how much closer this guy could have really gotten within 20 seconds, because he was not in this position for long. He ran up, laid down in the spot, took the shot, and then took off. So I don't know if this eyewitness, I mean, I don't think people would make stuff up, but I just don't know how much closer he could have gotten. And sometimes your eyes can see better than through the camera. So maybe he could see more detail than we can see here, but I just see like a lump. So it's interesting. And so this is...
So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof.
He changes his clothes in front of everybody, disassembles the rifle, and then runs behind here, and then jumps off the corner right there. You know, and then heads over to the wooded area. I've shown that there's cameras over there. I've shown that there's a camera up there. That would have seen him.
He drops down to the grass below, Mr. Director. We do not see anything that looks like a gun in his pants. We don't see it. Where is the gun, according to the FBI, in this video? And I understand that this is just surveillance from quite a distance and it's grainy, but we don't see anything there.
Yeah. Well, as we know, and look, I walked the steps myself when I got to the crime scene at the university there in Morm, Utah. And what happened was the shooter, as you saw, jumped off the rooftop, and then we retraced his steps to where he discarded the firearm in a wooded area next to the campus. And I walked that ravine, and he discarded the firearm in its entirety with the towel wrapped around it. And one of the critical pieces of information we were able to pull was DNA off the towel, and also DNA off a screwdriver that was found on the rooftop where the shooter was positioned in a prone position to take the shot that he took to kill Charlie Kirk.
Cash said that they found his, what we presume was his screwdriver on the top of the building, and they found his DNA on it, leading many to believe he had disassembled the gun when he jumped off of the roof. But then it appears when you guys found it in the woods, it was assembled. So can you provide any clarity on that?
Yeah, and I was a little hesitant in a media appearance this morning to go into specifics on especially the video and where the gun was. And there's a reason. Again, we only want to be transparent here.
Yeah, just tell us what you can.
Yeah, the suspect not cooperating, the video is obviously grainy. And as folks in the video space know out there, we can we have a number of really excellent tools in our lab, which is they're doing amazing work, and they've been up and handling this for days now. But the video is very grainy.
So you connect the gun. Now you got his DNA on it. That's huge. But I also want to get to another part.
I just got to interrupt. Sorry, I just got to interrupt. We have the DNA on the screwdriver that was found on the rooftop and the towel that the firearm was wrapped in. The firearm itself, this is a great point. Thanks for raising it.
Yeah, no problem.
That is being processed by ATF laboratories in Maryland, and I believe they'll speak to that at a later date. We've collected information where, through witness interviews from the FBI and local law enforcement, that he essentially admitted after the shooting and assassination of Charlie Kirk, the suspect admitted to it. Furthermore, the evidence and information will come out. I won't stylize the evidence. The Attorney General is absolutely right. We can't do that. But I will.
So I think the important piece there is that, the changing on the roof. The roof is wide open. There's a walkway. Like, there's no hiding from anybody. So it is strange. The whole roof thing is strange. Let's see if I can play this one.
This is if Tyler was up there undressing.
So this is the roof. It's basically a walkway, and then you just climb over that fence, and then that's it. Like, right out in the open. There's no hiding spot up there. So I think one of the things that they don't understand is how the rifle even got up there, because you cannot see it in his clothing at all. And I don't understand, like, were people not, maybe there was a lot of people around before Charlie started speaking, but the courtyard where he is so packed. And then whenever you see the shooter, there's like nobody around. So it's strange. Like, how could they not know who was up there? Unless it was like they were changing classes and there was a lot of people and he like mixed in with that crowd. Otherwise, I don't know, because the pictures that they have of the kid are, they have the houses, like when he's in the neighborhood. So he has the red shirt and then he has the black shirt. I assume it's the same person. But it's not the same cameras. Like, I thought we were told that it was the same camera with the kid with the red shirt and then the kid with the black shirt, but it's not. There's one camera that's the same, but it's only the black shirt person, where you see him before and after. But the red shirt in the morning, he's walking a different way because there's different houses that have him on camera. Now, the outfit that he was wearing in the morning with the red shirt, and it looks like he has knee-high white socks on, which I think, yeah, you could pack maybe like a scope or something down there, but I don't think you could hide a full rifle, even if it was in pieces. I mean, it's long. And like, he's thin. Like, you don't really see, I don't really see anything. Like, I've been like staring at these pictures, trying to see anything, and I just don't see it. On his right pocket, I can see a big square phone, but like, I don't really see anything. And like, we see the back of him walking up the stairs, because I was thinking maybe he has it tucked down his butt and like it's under the backpack, but I don't see it. I don't see it anywhere. So they don't know how the rifle got up there. And so my thought is that the rifle maybe was a plant. Maybe the rifle was a decoy. Maybe Tyler was the decoy. I don't know. I would think, though, if that rifle really is Tyler's grandfather's, we don't know how everything went down either. So like, the FBI could have went to his family first. They're saying that they turned him in, but they could have already been to the boyfriend, already went to the family. And that's, the story's going to be that they called him in. Like, the FBI can do stuff like that. And I don't even think it's illegal. It's like an FBI bump, like they did to the Adelsons. They can go and scare the roommate or scare the family and, make them snap into action. I just don't I mean, I don't know what he was doing there. Was he there if he was there by himself, those are the things that make me think he's probably guilty, right? If he's there by himself and it really was him at 8 a.m. and then he was still there at Dairy Queen at 6 p.m., then like, why were you there by yourself all day? Like he still maybe he was just involved. I don't know. It's just so strange. I think it would be so easy for the feds to say this is him, but they haven't. And this is like, I think these stairs are like when you're first coming into the campus. So then they do have other footage of him going into that building where, you know, the building that he's on top of. But who knows if he was mixed into the crowd or what, because they didn't show us any of those pictures and they show us stills. And the stills, I don't think look like him that much. I mean, it could be him. Definitely, like, it's a possibility. But I just don't see how his mother is like, oh, yeah, that's Tyler. I just don't think it really looks like him. But what else? So, regarding the bullet situation, this is I don't know. To me, it's pretty sick. So all these people are coming out and saying, you know, there's no way that round would have done such little damage. It would have, like, you know, the exit wound would have been much bigger than the entrance wound, and it would have done significant damage. You would have seen splatter behind him. We didn't see any of that. And then Candace Owens, there was, as soon as everything went down too, the strange part is that the Turning Point USA staff went back into the tent, took the chair that he was shot off of, stood on it, took down the camera. I don't think it's so much like that they took down the camera, or like, but you're in the crime scene. Like, they should know better than that. It seems like Turning Point USA kind of has like an in with the police or something, or with the investigation. It makes no sense. Another point about this Turning Point weirdness is that, let's see if I get the right one. There's two of these. I don't know if this is the right one. Okay, so this is the Turning Point USA statement. This was after Candace Owens called out that there was no blood on the back of him. There was no exit wound. And so Turning Point USA comes out with this statement. I don't understand why they have such an in with the investigation, because, you know, part of the investigation would be like your coworkers did it or orchestrated it. You know, Turning Point USA is worth a shit ton of money. And so for them to have the details of an investigation, it's very, very strange. And so he just says, I want to address some of the discussion about the lack of exit wound with Charlie. I'm usually not interested in delving into most of this kind of online chatter. And I apologize, this is somewhat graphic. But in this case, the fact that there wasn't an exit wound is probably another miracle. And I want people to know. I just spoke with the surgeon who worked on Charlie in the hospital. He said that the bullet absolutely should have gone through, which is very, very normal for a high-powered, high-velocity round. I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always just go through everything. This would have taken or two down, an elk, etc. But it didn't go through. Charlie's body stopped it. And then there's another continuation of this craziness. Oh, that's the wrong one. Unless I took a screenshot of the same one twice. Possible. But I think, long story short, is that I probably did take the same screenshot. No. I mentioned to his doctor that there were dozens of staff, students, and special guests standing directly behind Charlie, which there wasn't, on the other side of the tent, maybe. And he replied, it was an absolute miracle that someone else didn't get killed. His bone was so healthy. And the density was so impressive that he's like the man of steel. It should have just gone through and through. It likely would have killed those standing behind him too. There's no surgeon that would say something like this. Like, that's why I don't understand why they are making shit up. And that's, you know, so suspicious to me. No surgeon is going to say his bone's so healthy that, like, you know, a round that goes through a moose and an elk it just stopped it in midair, and they found it right beneath the skin. In the end, the coroner did find the bullet just beneath the skin. Even in death, Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. Remarkable, miraculous. I mean, this is, this is speaking to Christians, right? It like, are you a believer? This is what this kind of statement is, but it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. It's crazy that they put this statement out, and it's crazy that they have this kind of insider information, because I don't think that the nonprofit, the CEO of the nonprofit, that people at that nonprofit should know the details of the investigation. I think people in that nonprofit should be getting investigated, right? I mean, it's a profitable nonprofit. I don't even know how much it's worth. It brings in a shit ton of money. And the real question about the nonprofit is there's no transparency to where any of this money comes from. There was just a big thing about dark money, about Democratic influencers taking dark money. And like, because they didn't know where all the money came from, like everyone was like shaming them for being part of this program to, get messages out. But like on the Republican side, nobody gives a shit about what kind of dark money is going on. They don't care if it's Epstein Island money. They don't care because like their means to the end is that they just think whatever they think is right. Like, I don't think that I don't know. It's so strange because they do care about corruption, or at least they pretend to. I mean, I care about corruption. Oh my God, shut up. I need to shut this stupid thing off. I mean, I care about corruption no matter who it is, right? I think that that's the biggest problem in our country is money behind the scenes being able to control things, because it's billionaires being able to control the narrative, being able to control everything. And so I think it's insane. And then when we saw like their whole celebration of life, I mean, we'll talk about that in another video. But so the whole bullet situation is just so sketchy. And so another thing came out about the bullet. And so they said that the bullet is so fragmented that they cannot say for certain that it came from that gun. How is it fragmented if it landed in his soft neck and stopped? I mean, there's so many things in this case, but just talking about the bullet and the gun, like just those two things, it's like, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, if it was a frame job, if it was like an inside job, I feel like if the feds knew about it, then they would have better answers than this. So I don't think that the feds know. They might kind of know, but they're not orchestrating it because they're like a bunch of bumbling idiots in this case. The whole bullet situation, I mean, it's crazy to me. Crazy. So the screwdriver, that's another big one that I think is just crazy, because Kash Patel went on TV and said, we found a screwdriver on the roof in the sniper's perch, and the DNA matched to Tyler Robinson. The problem is the UVU security ran up to that spot right away and saw divots in the gravel of where the sniper was laying on the top of the roof. He did not see a screwdriver. So when did the screwdriver come into place? Did they find it somewhere else and wanted to say that it was on the roof, but then realized that, the security officer already like made a statement about what he saw? It's stuff like that. To me, it's just a huge red flag that they are trying to force a square peg in a round hole, that they are trying to fabricate evidence. They are just trying to close this case. I think that was their directive. Even like when they made the arrest of Tyler Robinson, the governor's like, now we have closure and blah, blah, blah. You don't have closure. Like, you can't say that about someone that has not had a trial. It's strange. I mean, It is definitely strange. So that's the whole screwdriver issue, the bullet issue. And like without the screwdriver being on the roof, there's no way to even say that Tyler Robinson was ever on the roof. That would have placed him on the roof. And they didn't put the screwdriver in any of the charging documents. Unless I'm crazy and I didn't see it, but I don't think so. And so if I share, we can look at this. This is his charging document. See if it's going to find the right screen. So basically this goes through his charges. So aggravated murder, that's the worst one. We have felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, and that must be like moving the gun and getting rid of the clothes, whatever. And so this one is on September 10th. So it would have been whatever he did that day, which would be running, moving the gun, and changing the clothes, I guess. Obstruction of justice, September 11th. I think this probably relates to getting rid of that note. So they say there was like a handwritten note, a confession, and then it disappeared. But then the roommate took a picture of it. So they have evidence of that, I guess. Tampering with the witness. And so that's the room, like talking to the roommate, telling him to delete messages. And so the first one is about incriminating text messages. The second one is about testimony. So the probable cause statement. And so everything that we've heard since the beginning, if it's not here, it's kind of like maybe it was wrong information. Maybe it was exculpatory evidence, and we don't know. So on September 10th at approximately 12:23, Charlie Kirk was shot and killed while speaking to a large crowd on the campus of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Police found the suspected murder weapon, a bolt-action .30-06 rifle, nearby. Over the next approximately 33 hours, police conducted a manhunt for the shooter until the evening of September 11th, when Tyler James Robinson surrendered to police at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. DNA consistent with Robinson was found on the rifle's trigger. After shooting Mr. Kirk, Robinson hid the gun, discarded the clothing he wore when he fired the rifle, and told his lover/roommate to delete incriminating text messages and not to talk to police. Children were present at the time of the shooting. So the shooting, Turning Point USA, a nonprofit organization founded in 2012 by Charlie Kirk, organized a public outdoor event to be held at noon on September 10th, 2025 at UVU. The event was first in a series of similar events to be held at college campuses nationwide. Mr. Kirk is a well-known conservative activist, famous for these types of events where he discusses various political issues and debates with audience members. His events and comments have garnered a significant number of supporters and drawn the ire of many who disagree with his political views. The event at UVU was announced far in advance and garnered significant publicity and interest. Consequently, several hundred people attended. I mean, to me, it looks like thousands of people, but they're saying several hundred people attended. Mr. Kirk was interacting with the crowd before the event officially got underway. Then approximately at noon, Mr. Kirk seated himself under a portable canopy behind a table and a microphone. He began speaking to the crowd and fielding questions from attendees, a format Mr. Kirk commonly used at his events. Mr. Kirk allowed his questioners to approach a microphone positioned directly in front of him. Mr. Kirk's team members were very close to him on his right and left, as well as some behind his canopy and others at various close locations near him. The large crowd surrounded Mr. Kirk on three sides. Temporary metal fencing separated attendees from Mr. Kirk by only a matter of feet. Directly above and behind Mr. Kirk was the UVU Hall of Flags, an indoor walkway spanning several hundred feet with floor-to-ceiling glass windows, which overlooked the plaza where Mr. Kirk was seated. People were in the walkway at the time of the shooting. So I think they're trying to say like he put all these people in danger. Approximately 15 minutes into the event, Mr. Kirk was answering a question about mass shootings by transgender individuals when a gunshot rang out. The bullet struck Mr. Kirk in the neck. He slumped to the ground almost immediately. The bullet's trajectory passed closely to several other individuals beside Mr. Kirk, including the questioner who was standing directly in front of Mr. Kirk. Children were visible near Mr. Kirk's stage when he was shot. Mr. Kirk was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was declared deceased. The medical examiner's report is pending. I mean, I'm sure it's not still pending, but we haven't heard anything else about it because the bullet was like just sitting there right beneath the skin. So the UVU surveillance investigation. At the moment of the shot, a UVU police officer was watching the crowd from an elevated vantage point. Now, throughout UVU, they have these like elevated walkways. And so I think there's one video where you can see this guy. He's wearing a green and white striped shirt. So as soon as he heard the shot, he began to scan the area for threats, believing the shot came from a rifle because of its sound. He looked for potential sniper positions. He noted a roof approximately 160 yards away from Mr. Kirk as a potential shooting position and rushed there to look for evidence. The suspected shooting position is adjacent to an open, publicly accessible walkway. To access the suspected location, a person must climb over a railing and then drop to the roof only slightly below. The UVU officer climbed over the railing and down onto the roof. He then walked to the suspected shooting position and confirmed a clear shooting corridor between the position and Mr. Kirk's seat. He also noticed markings in the gravel rooftop consistent with the sniper having lain on the roof. Impressions in the gravel potentially left by the elbows, knees, and feet of a person in a prone shooting position. No screwdriver. I mean, I think it's really important because Kash Patel did say the screwdriver was found in the sniper's perch, right? So if he's seeing divots in the gravel, he absolutely would have seen a screwdriver. So when did the screwdriver get there? That's the question. Police reviewed surveillance from the camera covering the roof and discovered that it recorded an individual dressed in dark clothing cross the railing from the public walkway and drop onto the roof at approximately 12:15. Although the individual moved out of the camera's view for a short time, the camera again captured the individual running across the roof and then low crawling to the area the UVU officer recognized as where the suspected sniper had dropped into a prone shooting position. After a short time, which matches the known time of the shot, the individual arose and ran across the roof to the northeast. Notice, those kids that took the video of the shooter on the roof, the ones that described him wearing full tactical gear, and they also said that he looks like a foreign agent, which, I mean, that makes me suspicious of them, because how in the hell would you know that? But it does sound like he just ran up, laid down, took the shot, and then ran off, which, I mean, I guess if you practice, but it did seem professional from those kids' perspectives. But it's funny that, you know, none of that's mentioned in here either because it doesn't align with the narrative. This discovery led to an intensive review of UVU surveillance recordings to attempt to track and identify the suspect. Surveillance revealed the following. At approximately 11:51 a.m., the suspect entered campus from the north, and those are the pictures that we see. He is seen wearing a black shirt with an American flag in its center, a dark baseball cap, and large sunglasses. Throughout their surveillance, the suspect keeps his head down and rarely raises his head enough to get a clear image of his face. As he proceeds across the campus, he is seen walking with an unusual gait. The unusual gait, I think, is the scariest part of it, especially being in that neighborhood and seeing that guy like limping along, just thinking like he has some kind of weapon down or something down there. Maybe it was just a scope. I mean, how big would the scope be though? Like, would the scope fit in his sock and would that make him drag his leg like that? And then he just had to get up on the roof to attach the scope to the rifle that was up there waiting for him that someone else dropped off. I don't know, but I just don't see how he had that rifle with him. The suspect walks with very little bending in his right leg, consistent with the rifle being hidden in his pants. This unusual gait continues until the suspect is seen crossing the railing off the open walkway and onto the roof, where he leaves the camera's view. A camera later captures the suspect as he runs across the roof to the suspected shooting position. Immediately after the shot was fired, a camera captures the suspect running across the roof, carrying an item whose shape is consistent with the rifle. The suspect is then seen climbing down from the roof. He appears to drop the item he was carrying as he hits the ground in a controlled fall. He then picks up the item and runs toward the northeast end of campus. The biggest mistake they made was releasing this video to the public, because, every person, like, they went on Newsmax, they went on Megyn Kelly. They're like, but he doesn't have a gun. What are you talking about? And just the fact that these are just reporters, right? Like, just journalists observing. That observation is coming into other people's minds. In my opinion, if I look really closely, yes, I think he does have a backpack on. A lot of people say he doesn't have a backpack on. I do see a backpack if I look really closely. And I also think that, yes, he could have a rifle. He's definitely picking up something. Like, you can't see it well, but I don't subscribe to that. But at the same time, thinking about Karen Reed, how many people think that her taillight wasn't broken at 6 a.m., So that video is not good to be released to the public before they knew anything else, because then they put out those theories about him dismantling the rifle with the screwdriver that somehow now has disappeared. It's just not good at all. Law enforcement officers followed the suspect's escape path to the northeast end of campus, where they believe the suspect left campus and entered a wooded area. In that wooded area, investigators found a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a towel. The rifle contained 1 spent round and 3 unspent rounds. This is consistent with the facts officers observed at the time of and immediately after the shooting. No shell casings were found on the roof, suggesting a bolt-action rather than an auto-loading weapon, and only a single round was fired. I think it's important to note this part because I see a lot of misinformation about this. Like, people are thinking that the bullet that was in Charlie had the inscriptions on them, but no, it was in the casing and it wasn't on the roof. It was in the gun. So there's no evidence that anyone was on the roof except for the videos and the divots in the gravel, which could be from anything. And then the bullet doesn't match, or they can't tell. It's too fragmented. They can't tell if it matches, that's just bizarre. Yeah, I don't know. And that's why I kind of think that the gun that they found was a decoy. They wanted them to find those inscriptions for sure. Because why else would you inscribe them if you weren't going to leave the gun for them to find? Because they would have never seen it. So it does seem like that gun was left on purpose for them to find. And is it a decoy? I have no idea. But I think it is. And so these are the inscriptions on the cartridges. So notices bulge. What's this? Hey, fascist, catch. Bella ciao, chow, chow. If you read this, you are gay. LMAO. That last one is, if this kid really is dating his roommate, I just don't understand. It doesn't make sense for him to write that. The rest of them, if they are gamers, sure. But if you think about this as this is a decoy gun, this is what they were meant to find. Because otherwise, why inscribe anything? So are they trying to frame the groypers? Like, that's what I see from this, because the groypers are, internet, dark web, gamer people. The groypers aren't allowed at any turning point events. And when I say groypers, anyone that doesn't know, I think it's America First is their little logo. Nick Fuentes, he's anti-Semitic. I think that's the main difference between him and the right. Like, they're considered alt-right, but they are more racist than, they are just extreme. But at the same time, he's been popping up. He was deplatformed, so he wasn't allowed on any platform, but like, he's on TikTok now again. And the stuff that he is talking about, he's talking about freedom stuff. And like, I believe in the freedom type stuff. So like freedom of speech, just freedom stuff, like not having the government overreach. And so Tucker Carlson's talking about that stuff right now. Candace Owens. There's a bunch of people on the right that are talking about, we need to watch what the government is doing and make sure they don't violate our constitutional rights. And it is a scary time right now. They do want to do that. And it's both sides. It's Democrats and Republicans. Section 230, that is how they will limit our speech on online without having to do much. They just invoke section. You can't say things that the people in charge don't like. Because hate speech is just so broad. It can be anything. It could be criticizing them, and that's what we're worried about right now. So I don't know. I think that the rifle was placed there for them to find. So on the evening of September 11, 2025, as law enforcement continued their investigation, Tyler James Robinson went to the Washington County Sheriff's Office with his parents and a family friend to turn himself in. Robinson's mother stated the following to police. On September 11th, 2025, the day after the shooting, Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son. Robinson's mother called her son and asked him where he was. He said he was at home sick and that he had been at home sick on September 10th. Robinson's mother expressed concern to her husband that the suspected shooter looked like Robinson. Robinson's father agreed. Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. Now, I think there's like a common misconception about just because someone's gay or trans that they're definitely left. I mean, look at Caitlyn Jenner. I don't even think it's related. There's a ton, especially white gay men that are conservative gay men. So, I would say like, yeah, Mormons are probably going to be like, that's left, just if he's gay, if he has a trans roommate or whatever, but he's probably conservative about everything else. So I don't really see that just because he's touched a penis a few times, that doesn't mean he's left necessarily. I mean, especially he knows that it's wrong. So he's going to turn his boyfriend into a girl so that he can still be a happy Mormon. I mean, I don't know what the deal is behind the scenes, but to me, that does not mean left necessarily. And that's what I don't like about when they say these shootings and talk about the left. People automatically think about the gay community. And I'm like, oh, great, I'm going to get attacked because these people are saying the left. And who else says the left? Like, who are they talking about when they say the left, right? It's always the LGBTQ people, even though it's not even accurate, especially if they're white. A lot of them are conservative. But, whatever gets them some free kills, I guess. So this resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. I mean, this could be true. It's just so vague. Because I mean, like, I would have a conversation like that. Like, it doesn't mean anything. And it could just be Charlie Kirk's comments on trans people. I mean, I do think that his comments on trans people were kind of hateful. But overall, there's a lot of things that he said that I don't agree with, but like, I understand where he's coming from and what his baseline is. I think he does believe that stuff. But I don't know. So Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him the surveillance image of the suspected shooter in the news, he agreed that it looked like their son. He also believed that the rifle that police suspected the shooter used matched a rifle that was given to his son as a gift. So that's strange to me because didn't they show a picture of it that day? They showed a picture of the shooter. This was the next morning. I think it wasn't the first press conference in the morning, because I was like, they're going to release it because they were saying they have images. So I think maybe around noon or something, they released images, and they also released images of the gun. But he's not saying that he saw the gun. He's saying that however they described it. So as a result, Robinson's father contacted his son and asked him to send a photo of the rifle. Robinson did not respond. However, Robinson's father spoke on the phone with Robinson. Robinson implied that he planned to take his own life. Robinson's parents were able to convince him to meet at their home. As they discussed the situation, Robinson implied that he was the shooter. Like, how do you imply that you were the shooter? And stated that he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it. When asked why he did it, so he implied, and then they asked him why. Why are you implying? So Robinson explained there is too much evil, and the guy, Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate. They talked about Robinson turning himself in and convinced Robinson to speak with a family friend who was a retired deputy sheriff. At Robinson's father's request, the family friend met with Robinson and his parents and convinced Robinson to turn himself in. The family friend spoke to police and reported telling Robinson that it would be best if he brought all evidence with him to the sheriff's office to avoid police having to search his parents' home. The family friend also asked Robinson if he had any clothes that were related to what he did. Robinson replied that he had disposed of the clothes in different areas. So you could still tell them where it is, right? I just think that this is coming down where he's like not cooperative. I don't think he knows. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like maybe he doesn't know. There's a lot of false confessions in high profile cases. And this one, there was money involved. And I don't know. I think that Robinson has something to do with it. I don't understand why else he would be there all day long at 8 a.m. till like 6 p.m, unless he had something to do with it. But I think that he was the decoy. I think that that gun was supposed to be the decoy. So police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting and provided those messages to police. On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you were doing, look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found the note that stated, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. So this note, I mean, maybe it existed. I mean, if they have a photograph of it, I guess it existed. But he still could be saying it as a decoy. I'm going to, like, what does he mean he had the opportunity, right? Like, did someone reach out and a bunch of them are going to go there? Because there was that guy, George Zinn, that pretended he did it. I don't know. So then the following text exchange then takes place. Now, nobody takes this text exchange seriously on any side of this. Like, people are just like, what? Because it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, there's no criminal in history that ever would like lay out every single detail like this. But so after reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" In general, I just don't know where they get these from. If they got it from a download of the phone, if they got pictures, if it was the roommate recanting what he said. But so Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I got to grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep the secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." You weren't the one who did it, right? I am. I'm sorry. I just don't think that that is a response. You know, like, if you knew nothing at all, unless he's like a regular hitman, I just think that there would be a lot, like, you would ask a lot of questions, but he's like not really asking too much. So then Robinson says, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude," which I don't know how he would know that, because he would have been running off the roof at that time. He would have been going through the woods, ditching the gun, changing his clothes. So I don't know how he would know about the crazy old guy. Then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I don't know how he would know that either. I think in one of the press conferences, they said that they took another person of interest that had dark clothing. That's all they said. So I don't know what he means, similar clothing. I mean, maybe that's what he heard and that's where he got it from, but I just don't know how he would know about George Zinn and all that. So it says, I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. So the problem with this, but there's one vehicle lingering. That means that, what is he driving around while the cops have the road blocked off and they see his gray Challenger like coming up and driving around and driving around? Like, I don't get it. Unless he was on foot. I don't know. But it doesn't really make sense to me. Also, that picture at Dairy Queen, if he was talking to him at that time, which would be the time that maybe you text someone while you're eating, he wasn't close enough to see if there was one vehicle lingering. Like, one vehicle lingering means he's like sitting somewhere watching. Or he keeps driving by, which is even more suspicious. So the roommate just says, why? Why did I do it? So that doesn't make sense to me. Like, the roommate is saying just why? Why did I do it? Yeah. If it is a roommate that's not that close to him, maybe he asked the question. But if they are dating, they already know that he doesn't like, the parents know that he doesn't like Charlie Kirk. So why is he asking why? He must have been complaining about him before, right? So he needs to explain to him. I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. I mean, I think that they knew where the rifle was and they didn't report that they had found it until the next morning. But I think that they found it pretty quick and were waiting for someone to come back. I just don't believe it. It just doesn't make sense. The rifle thing with the inscriptions on it, no one was ever going to see the inscribed bullets if he did get the rifle, right? So what is the point of of inscribing the bullets? I mean, and then the roommate's like, how long have you been planning this? A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it. But then he keeps giving him all these details. The roommate's not even asking that. It's just so weird. It really is like the feds like needed to like put the whole story together, make the arrest, and this is what they come up with. I mean, this is going to have everyone like lose faith in our justice system if these are made up. It's just mind-boggling that these could be true. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. I like them writing in complete sentences like that. Like, this is not realistic at all for Gen Z. Like, they don't write like this. They don't even use question marks. So I don't know. And just the language, the squad car, but maybe if they play a lot of video games, shooter games, maybe they do have this like this terminology, squad cars and retrieve the rifle, if they do play these kind of games. I just don't think they should be, I don't think they would be talking in full sentences like this. And no, there is no timestamps. So, which I guess in a charging document like this, maybe you wouldn't have all the timestamps. So then he keeps talking about the goddamn rifle. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. He calls it a vehicle. Weird. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I mean, even this Grandpa's rifle thing makes it seem like the feds know they don't have serial numbers. They don't have a way to track it. So they're going to put it in the text that, oh, it's Grandpa's rifle. And then have the father confirm it. IDK if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. That gun was left on purpose. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. What about the screwdriver? Where's the screwdriver? Because they found one, I think. Maybe they didn't. I guess they made that up. Maybe they did make it up. I think they're allowed to do that. But I think he was already in custody by the time he said the DNA matched. So like they can make stuff up to, so that when people do confess or where they do interview someone, they get worried about stuff to get the upper hand. But I don't know. And then he's going to just offer up, remember how I was engraving bullets? Like, there's no possible way. The effing messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge ooh on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Like, remember how I was engraving bullet? Like, this is just not the conversation that you would have with someone that you are super familiar with, right? Why were you going to tell them all this? It's just so fake. Like, it's absolutely insane if this is real. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun, and he keeps calling Grandpa, does just fine. IDK. I think that was a $2,000 scope. Delete this exchange. And so they don't have timestamps on this, but it says these are the messages from September 10th. My dad wants photos of the rifle. I guess it doesn't make sense, though, because in the narrative, it says that first, the mother saw the picture, and that was like the first part of it. The pictures did not come out until the next morning, like late morning, early afternoon. So this has to be the next day. So he says, delete this exchange. And then my dad wants photos of the rifle. But like, when is he texting this to the roommate? Because he would have went home, right? After he says, I have to leave it, delete this exchange. But why? He was going to go home anyway to fill him in with all this stuff anyway. So why are you going to put it all in text? It just doesn't make any sense. And so then I guess, who knows where he is when he's saying my dad wants photos of the rifle? Wouldn't he have been home with the roommate? He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. And then he just offers up, since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty... I mean, if this is his significant other, I don't think he needs to tell him, since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. He's been... If they were a couple, they would be talking about, like, he would already know. The way this is written, it's not for someone with familiarity. And that's the main red flag for me, is that this is not how you talk to someone that you're familiar with. They're narrating step by step and all this stuff. You would have short ways of telling people things, especially they weren't playing games all the time. So like, they have short ways to talk about stuff. He doesn't need to illustrate, oh, Trump is so diehard. I mean, my dad's a diehard MAGA now. So then he goes, I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. I think it wasn't willingly. I think that I think the feds got to the parents. The parents got him over there maybe. And then they, forced him to turn himself in. You are all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried about you. The roommate has not asked him a damn question all this time. And like, there's no worry whatsoever. And then it's like, okay, love, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any, please ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. It's just so fake. I don't understand why they thought that they had to fabricate stuff. And it might just be that they didn't have the evidence without the fake text to charge him. They didn't have enough probable cause. But I mean, they would have had his phone. It doesn't seem like he factory reset his phone or did anything with his phone. So, I mean, that tells me that the phone doesn't match his movements or doesn't match the shooter's movements. So that's a problem. I know in the first document, the probable cause, they say at I think it's 11:52 or something, he takes the phone out of his pocket, presses a button, and then puts it back in. Maybe that was him shutting the phone off, but they would have that data. They would have, and then that that's him, right? If the movement on his phone and the steps and him shutting it off, if that matches, That's it. That's him. I mean, or at least it's more positively him. Like that's the stuff that they should have put in here, not these text messages. Like it's just so messed up. So then they just go through the charges and then that's it. It's just so unbelievable. So it's like these fake texts or whatever. There was Discord text too. So these are text messages, but then there was also Discord message or a Discord message where he basically said the same thing where at the end of this, where I'm going to turn myself in. But I think that was his family because it's all in complete sentences. I don't know, especially if he's not cooperating. I mean, I think that the family maybe could have got his devices and when they were talking to him, trying to get the confession. I don't know. That's what it seems like to me. I mean, it's one possibility because it is like his Discord message is all complete sentences, just like how this is written. And it doesn't seem, because you can see his other Discord messages, he doesn't use punctuation. He is kind of long-winded compared to like most kids. And so like, that's why I'm like, well, maybe. But I don't think he uses the ... Like, I don't know. So, and then the search warrant, all that the search warrant revealed was shell casing with etchings similar to the ones found in the rifle, and then targets with bullet holes in it. That's it. I mean, so there's no clothes that tie him. I mean, he had a lot of costume changes. If they think all those different videos of him, so he was wearing the maroon shirt with gray shorts and then the knee-high socks. And then he was wearing I guess it's the jeans and a black shirt, the American flag on it. But then he changed into tactical gear. Or that kid's not telling the truth. I don't know. And now the bullets don't match. I mean, they're saying it's fragmented and that's why they can't match it, but I don't understand how, and I'm not like a gun connoisseur, so I might just be like ignorant to this, but I would think fragmented means it hit something, but they're saying that it just lodged into his neck and stayed right beneath the skin. It didn't come out the back, even though it should have just went right through him, but it didn't. So it was a miracle. And then the fragmented bullet, which they found in his neck, which isn't it fully intact? They can't match it to that rifle. So, I mean, I think that rifle was a red herring. They were meant to find that rifle with the etchings on it. And then I don't know if they really did find DNA. I mean, maybe they did find DNA on the towel. I don't know. It's super confusing. Do they have his backpack? That I'm not sure of. I mean, so I've seen him wear the black backpack and then the blue backpack when he's wearing the red shirt. I mean, I just think that and they also say that they have him arriving at the campus at 8:30 or 8. I mean, it might be like 8:27 or something in his Dodge Challenger, which I think that would have been a great video to show the public, right? So if you see the Dodge Challenger pull up and then you see a kid dressed with that red shirt and the knee-high socks, then okay, then we can at least settle on that is him, right? But they didn't show that. And then the kid is walking around that morning. It's before 8:30 or whatever. It's before he arrives on campus. So he's walking around that neighborhood. And then does he look exactly the same? Like, that's the question. And like, how did he get his car? Like, why would he be walking around the neighborhood and then come and pull the car into like a campus parking garage? I mean, I'm not saying that he couldn't, but nothing really like makes sense. But that would have been the point where he gets the rifle on the roof or something somehow, or somebody else does. It's just a lot for a single person to pull off. Because they know that he ran to that spot, laid down, took the shot and left like almost immediately, like he was ready. And then he goes through all this stuff. He takes a shot, runs, jumps off the roof. And even when he's jumping off the roof, it looks like he didn't even know where to go, really. Like he ran to one corner and then came back. And as soon as he gets off the roof, nobody's running around. Like, even though we saw that courtyard clear out within a minute, he's like just walking by people. Nobody's looking at him weird. He should have a gun with him right at that point, and a mask and tactical gear. And everyone's just walking by him. Like nothing happened. So, I mean, the tactical gear thing, maybe it was just a face mask that he had on. I don't know. Everything just seems weird. And like when I listen to the kid speak, when he got pulled over or he got in a car accident, he does seem weird. I mean, I do have bias against him when I saw that video because it reminds me of Brian Kohlberger, kind of. Brian Kohlberger was more argumentative in a nice way, but annoying. But they're both awkward in the same way. But that could just be me being biased against dorks or something. I don't know. But he did seem like the type of person that like would annoy the hell out of you. Like he's like, well, I put oil in my car this morning and now it's leaking all over the road after this car accident. Like you just, I don't know. But like, I don't know. All right. So then that's the charging document. I think there's more to go through and I'll do another live. I'm trying to figure out what times to do these at. I know I didn't have that many people on here today. I never do it this early. But I'm also not connected to X. So X is probably where I get a lot of views. But I don't know. I want to try to do it more regularly and just kind of get into a rhythm, be more succinct and just like go through the stuff, you know, have the pieces, have the beginning, have some pieces to look at and end it so that I can kind of try to podcast it as well. Nerdy and maybe lacking common sense. True. I mean, I'm going to be blown away if those text messages are real. It's just insane to me. I mean, I question everything about it. Like I question about his relationship with the roommate just because he's like, oh, my dad is MAGA and da, 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 da. Like the roommate doesn't seem too concerned. Like he just accepts this and doesn't really ask a ton of questions. I don't know. But I don't know. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other and don't trust the government. That's for damn sure.